I think that's good, right like that, huh? Get myself situated up here. And of course, when you're working, I've got my eye protectors on. I've got a back support on. I got my knee braces on. I've got some earplugs in. Actually, my earplugs are just toilet paper. Okay, I'm going to put this on high. And I can tell I'm right in to the wood. Okay, just like that. And I'm gonna choose to not use that drill anymore. I'm just gonna take the impact drill. I've got my bit on, and I could have put that on the other one. And now I'm gonna put this in. You see what I mean? It was getting tight out further, and I would really have to push and push and push with the other drill. But with this one, I just keep it nice and tight on here and just keep driving it in. First off, I'm going to take it out a little bit. I could not do that with the other drill. Now, can you see how you could visually imagine this door jamb pushing in tighter? Even if there was a shim back behind here, the shim could be here, it could be up here, it could actually be right there. But wherever it is, I'm actually pushing this that much tighter up against the wall, and that is going to raise the door up. Isn't that something how that works? Okay, now I'm going to put one up here. Okay, the actual screws are sunk into the wood by at least a 1/16, maybe more. And being up this high, I wouldn't have as much force either with the other drill. Okay, man, that worked out good. Okay, so now I've got to get my my little screws, and I want to be careful when I put this in. Normally I like to do this just by hand because these are small screws. I would never want to use the impact and drive them in, but I can just start it with these, with the impact drill. I don't want to force it in because there's no way it's going to get tighter and tighter. What's going to happen is those screws are just going to start spinning in the wood, right? That's the last thing we want. And look at that. This hinge screw is already spinning. I know that is not, there's no holding power on that screw at all. And lucky for me, I have some other screws. I have some longer screws like this that I can take that and replace it with and actually go right into the wood. And I think I'm gonna do that. Okay. Either way, that screw is not doing anything, is it? But the other two screws are going to hold it for the time being. So let's just take a meander here. I'm gonna close this, and I'm gonna see if the doors are actually hitting or not. Look. See that? They're not hitting at all, are they? And I may not have to adjust that second hinge at all. We'll get you up there. I don't want to stop the camera. I don't want you to think I've got any monkey business going on. Okay, so we're gonna kind of close those so I can get my my 3-stool step ladder into place. I'm gonna put these back in, and I'm gonna. You see, here's the button, the spring-loaded top button, and I'm gonna have to adjust those. Yeah, those are heavy springs. And see, this one is up too high, just barely, because see, it's hitting this wood, and it's made a little mark there. And see, I should have adjusted that before the painters came. We're gonna close those and look at this real close. Now see, this edge is almost in line with that. It's raised it up a little bit, but not all the way. But now we look over here. Remember, we had a little bit of a gap there. We've got nothing now. See? And so even if I were to push this second hinge over, it's only going to go so far. And you saw that I've got those screws, those long screws, really tucked in there as tight as I could go. Now, and so I know this hinge right here is not going to go over any further no matter what I do, because we've got tight to tight. The door is tight up to the door jamb, but because it closes that way, it's not going to rub the paint off or anything. Now, if these two were still rubbing, then I would have to go over here and move that, knowing that this door would go up even higher a little bit, and these will never line up, because whoever installed this, you know, as I say, they just didn't install it 100% perfect. Sometimes it's hard to get double doors adjusted properly. The main thing you have to do on double doors is you got to make sure that this top rail is nice and level before you start plumbing down your sides and before you start putting your shims in and all that, because when you install this, you can have that side of the door jamb perfectly plumb, which is level going up and down, okay? And you could have this one perfectly plumb. But then if this side is slightly up, a 1/4 inch higher than that side, the top is going to be crooked, even though both of these doors are going to be lined up. But if this one's up higher, this door is going to be up higher of the top edge than that one. Do you see what I'm saying? And no matter what you do, there's nothing you can do about lining that up. If I were to get a level and put it on there, I know that side over on that side is probably slightly higher than that side. They should have pooched that up a little bit higher is what they should have done. And you could tell that because of the gap up at that side was tighter than that side. Do you remember? You know, see that nice gap there? Now look over here, look over there. See how that's kind of tight? So either way, I mean, it's pretty close to how it is right now. And I'm thinking that, see, no matter what I do, I can't get them to hit now, can I? See? Even if I were to close them both at the same time. Okay? And so that's my first step. But before I move on, I'm gonna finish this. And you know what? I'm wondering if I should do anything to that hinge. I don't think I'm going to. I think the only thing I'm gonna do is I've got to go into the garage and get a longer screw for that. And then I may have to even pre-drill it, because that screw I can make long enough to go right into the 2x4 behind there. Okay, so this is 3/4 inch, and there's probably a 1/4 inch gap between that and the 2x4, or an 1/8. So there's 7/8, so like an 1.25 inch long screw or something like that, and that'll get that in there nice and tight. So I'm gonna do that. I always like to try to get things fixed all the way, because I think, oh yeah, I'll remember that later. I'll put something in there. You get all done, and a month from now, I look up there and I think, son of a gun, that screw's not there. And see, right now, the only thing holding that door up at the top is the two other screws. And you saw how long those screws are. They're not very long, because they're designed to just go into the 3/4 inch door jamb thickness. You don't want them to go any further. You know, if somebody were to install longer ones, then if you go to install the door, you know, the door jamb, the pre-hung door and stuff, you don't want the back side of those screws to hit the 2x4. You see what I'm saying? So anyways, enough of that. I'm gonna go try to find myself a longer screw. Well, that's all I got for this time. But I'll be back with more videos.